started. We're getting loose. So let's get loose.
Feeling loose.
We should use this in the interview.
Yeah. Oh, I know it'll be in the interview. No doubt.
Well, since we know this is going to be in the interview, why don't we just start the interview? Everyone,
Right.
if you're watching, my name is Chris Dinger. I'm the executive director at SAK Comedy Lab, and I have my friend and colleague, Dr. David Charles, with us. SAK is doing a lot of online classes. We asked David if he had any online classes he wanted to pioneer at SAK, and he's put together a couple master classes. They are a mouthful. Let me just let's see. Character through Shakespeare Style is the first one. Narrative, storyline, and the dramatic arc is the second one. In a moment, we're going to talk about why these classes aren't as scary as they sound. But first, David, tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe even our history. Why not?
Our history, me and you. Actually, I think we do go back about the same amount of time at SAK, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I joined 2003, 2004, and I think you were there maybe a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah, I've been making your life on stage a living hell for over almost 2 decades now.
Yeah. I'm glad you said it. And I've been improvising about 3 decades, which is hard because I'm in my early 30s, you know.
But just a baby when you started.
But yeah, no, I've been improvising a while. So I think folks from SAK might know that my day gig is at Rollins College. So I teach in the Department of Theatre and Dance there and do a lot of improv in that curriculum as well. So I don't get to teach at SAK-U as much as I'd like because my life is just often quite busy. So I'm excited. I've been racking my brain as to what might really work well with Zoom, and I think these 2 classes should.
Yeah, and you're respected around SAK, I don't know if you know this, as not only a really great director, but also a creator of some pretty cool formats that we've done at SAK. So what are the shows we've done? We've done that you've created.
Yeah, I think there's 4 or 5 of them now. Like we did Lost Comedies of William Shakespeare together, right? And I've done Foreplay, the improvised musical. Those were both over a decade ago now. And then Is This Taken with Jay Hopkins. Then Guerrilla Theatre, which is in its 10th year, I directed and sort of crafted a very SAK unique vision of that. And folks might have seen Lights Up, the improvised rock opera. That's the most recent. That's been running about 4 years on one of those Thursday night slots. So, I love devising and creating a lot of word-focused stuff. I try to be a physical improviser. You're much more physical than I am. but
I'll let you do all the wordsmithing, and then I'll just crawl in between your legs and pretend like I'm being birthed. And then everyone just laughs and laughs and laughs. And it really takes no talent at all to do what I do. But,
no, I love playing with you. I think we're a good balance. But I love crafting that kind of stuff. And then folks who might be a little familiar with my work at Rollins, I've done, long form film noir. I've done Shakespeare there. A murder mystery, Greek tragedy, and an Upton Abbey, parody. So I just love this stuff. Love it.
Yeah. And Rollins College, you already mentioned you're the what your role is there?
I'm a full professor, I suppose my title. I have served as a chair there as well. And people sat on me. It was lovely. And I produced the Annie Russell Theatre there for, I think, 7.5 years as well. So I've been pretty busy there. Been at Rollins since 2003 as well, so 17, 18 years.
And all the books behind you are books you've authored?
That is correct. Most of them are just a long, winding children's series with no recurring characters.
Mm-hmm.
It was an experiment in well, this is shelving, but I haven't got to the reincorporation.
It was a professional dead end, but now you've discovered these master classes. So let's talk about the master classes. The first one is fully improvised Shakespeare. Wait, no, hang on. I heard the wrong thing. That was a note I was going to ask you about. It's character through Shakespeare and style, and I do want to find a way to pitch these in a way we can unpack it in a way that it doesn't freak people out, because I've had Shakespeare workshops with you, David, when we were developing, or it was already developed, but the improvised Shakespeare show we did at SAK. It was a 4-person fully improvised Shakespeare show, and for people that don't know, David is just a master at the Shakespearean genre. We do guerrilla theater together. If I can get him to do a Shakespeare scene, I've created a scene called Shakespeare Dad, where I make him be a dad who spent a week at Shakespeare camp, and he's coming home to his family, and he still hasn't shaken the shakes off of him. So he's completely in dialect the whole time, and he's just you're very brilliant at it. I think
he also makes me pee my pants and gorilla shows as well. From the high art to the low art. Yeah.
So okay, so I've proven by now you have credibility in the genre. But what is this? What's the elevator pitch for this character through Shakespeare Style workshop, and who is it for?
I think it's for folks who want to get stronger at style and unlock language, right? And it does sound a bit scary, so yeah, let's unpack it. Shakespeare was writing for incredible audiences, from plebs or the common folks all the way up to royalty. And he knew how to use language. So from poetic language to wordplay and puns and bawdiness, there's so many cool devices there. So while we'll be looking at Shakespeare a little, it's also just about getting more comfortable with your language and finding ways to unlock character by the way a character speaks and uses language, or how they use their language with someone else and create a relationship. Because if you've ever rhymed in improv, you'll know that sometimes that opens up unexpected doors for you as you're chasing the rhyme. And I think that can be delightful in language and style scenes too, that when you really embrace the style, you're like, oh my gosh, I would never have made that choice otherwise. But the language, the game led me to this really cool, unexpected place. So oh yeah, please.
Yeah, it's sort of like you're leading from a different place other than like a super thinky type of place. You're letting some sort of flow happen that opens more creative doors for you to make further assumptions and scenes. So it seems like a muscle it's transportable beyond a genre.
No, absolutely. And because I'm a bit of a type A improviser, I like to think and plan, and I find that focusing on the language, ironically, does the opposite for me. It forces me to just really be in the moment. And really pay attention to what I'm saying right then and what my partner is saying right then. So you don't need to have done Shakespeare. In fact, I'm assuming that the class members will not have taken Shakespeare anywhere. So in some ways, it's a little bit of a primer in terms of just some of the big strokes of Shakespeare too. So whether you just want to do it better in your short form Shakespeare, or you want to explore language in the way you might apply that to long form or sketch, I think it's going to be a real fantastic class, and it's material I'm just so excited and passionate to teach, right?
Yeah, and not many people know you were born in America, but you trained yourself to speak in the exact dialect that Shakespeare spoke in.
I was like, what will really make me marketable in America is if I sort of sound like a New Zealander, but no one can place it. And it's worked wonders for my career. That's actually why I turned to writing for a while there. I just wasn't getting cast.
All right, well, that's character through Shakespeare Style, and I didn't honestly. I'm the one that put them on the website. I didn't know a lot about the class until we started talking, and I'm actually getting more excited about it. So maybe I'll end up joining.
That'd be awesome.
That class is 6 weeks, as is the other one. It's 6 weeks. It's 2 hours each week, and it's 10-person max in the class. We're trying to keep it tight.
Yeah.
And you have some experience teaching online improv classes.
We do, yeah. Because of what's happened to all of us at Rollins, we moved online for the last 6 weeks. So I've also tried to really design classes that I think will thrive on Zoom, and not have that sense of, well, normally we would do blank. These are I'm designing with an eye, and I'm excited at the possibility of let's use real words. I'm excited at the possibility of not only seeing some SAK faces there, but this makes it possible for those who may not be immediately in our region to come and take a class with us as well, which is awesome.
Yeah, don't flub your words when
I know it doesn't help
about Shakespeare and language.
I'll do the rest in iambic pentameter.
But I kind of set you up for that question because I just wanted to emphasize that even though this is sort of a new medium for all of us, we're not winging it so much. I mean, maybe there is a little bit of element of we're trying to put things together, but you have some experience in this, and also a word that is often associated with David Charles is structure. Even though he teaches improv and sort of a creative free flow, He also, if I can speak for you, I think you find structure very valuable.
Yeah,
okay, I can't do that.
It was worth a try. It was a visual gag.
But so your online course, I'm sure, I have no doubt, I have no idea exactly what you're going to do, but it's going to be highly thought out, and it won't kind of have a kind of a fast and loose feel. I think you're going to probably conduct that.
It's
pretty
right,
pretty well organized
and tight.
All right, let's see. I'm trying really hard. I want to keep just doing bits, but I'm trying to keep this. I'm so hard. I'm trying to keep this tight. Okay. Did I say I'm so hard? By the way, I want to.
You did.
Okay.
You did.
The second one is narrative storyline and the dramatic art. What is that?
Well, it's the dramatic arc for first, and I I don't want folks to think have that word dramatic scare them. It's just meaning the way we put together our theatre, right? And so often, again, whether we're in sketch or short form or long form, there's this expectation that we sort of know how to put a story together. And for many of us, we've not actually taken a breath and really broken that down into, well, how does a story launch, and whether we use sort of Aristotelian language of, ignitions and rising actions and peripeteia and anagnorisis, all those scary words. It doesn't have to be that, but most of us know about platforms or, breaking routine, but really breaking down how we put together a story. So I'm excited that this will be a good one for storytellers, for I think people who are into stand-up or just writing might find the class really interesting as well, to find some structure in the madness, and again, a way to inspire our creativity. I think of structure as a way to unlock our potential rather than lock it up, right? And so it's a way of getting to look at story and structure from that perspective.
I think anyone who's seen a Lights Up, the improvised rock opera, is probably thinking, they're probably still trying to figure out how to put a story together.
Yeah, some nights that is truly the case. Yeah.
Although I will say, most of the time, it's the three others of us have a pretty solid idea of how things are unfolding, but mainly it's David swooping in when needed, and he's just almost always has it all figured out. And I don't even think that's true.
No, that's the
I look at you on stage, and we all have so much trust in you as a narrative improviser that there is an illusion of like, we should just kind of hang back because David knows where this is going. He's gonna puppet master this whole ending for us.
Oh, that may be the worst thing you can say about an improviser, but I'll say thank you.
Well,
thank you.
That's mainly, that dynamic mainly surfaces when we're in panic mode.
Yeah,
when we're like, what's happening?
But I don't know if we often take the time, though. I think of most of our classes, we're teaching freedom and spontaneity and listening, right? That's all critical. But I'm hopeful that it'll be helpful for folks to just pause for a second and go, okay, do I really know what the balance of a story is? Do I really know what function that's serving? And this sounds dry. It won't be. We'll be enacting and telling and creating stories and improv scenes like all our other great classes at SAK. But it's just shifting the focus a little bit into really crafting the beats of a story. How do we make it work?
Cool. Okay. I think that's it. Anything else you wanted to add? I think we would, we'd be registering. You'd be getting some information on exactly how to join the class. It's going to be through Zoom. So you want to make sure, we'll have kind of some technical recommendations for you.
Yeah.
And like I said, trying to keep the class relatively tight, around 10, but I know we'll be working with some breakout rooms within the class. So you should be up sort of virtually on your feet through the class, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'm an experiential learner, right? So I want to have folks doing as much as I possibly can, and we've been playing with the technology to make sure we can make that happen.
There you go again.
Yeah, I know. You get me tongue-tied, Chris.
So you can register at sak.com/classes. That'll take you to our main page, and you'll see right at the top of that page, or maybe just a little below the top, all of our online classes featured. There's some other online classes. Ignore those and only go to these for the purposes of this interview. Only go to these two. But you'll see character through Shakespeare Style on there, and also narrative storyline and the dramatic arc. And those start next next week. So
yeah, the week of, what is that, May 11th and 12th, I think.
11th and 12th. Do we know which one? Hang on, I can tell you which.
Yeah, narrative storyline and the dramatic arc, that's on the Monday on the 11th, and then the character through Shakespeare is on the 12th. And like you've been joking, Chris, don't let the titles scare you. It's hard to come up with a title that is, these are unique classes, and I wanted them to stand out from the field of classes that are out there. So I've tried to be as descriptive as I can, but at the end of the day, they're improv classes, full of joy and discovery, and they're designed to just push you a little bit out of your comfort zone. So if the thought of a Shakespeare style class or a structure class makes you nervous, in some ways, I'd say those are the classes for you.
This just occurred to me. I think this is probably obvious through the course of our conversation, but this is probably not for a beginner, you would say?
No, I'd agree. I think you want to have a sense of playfulness already, and not be on your own shoulder judging your choices too much. But I think SAK's always good about recognizing people who might have unique talent. So if you're not sure, reach out, and we'll chat with you and figure out where you are and if these are the right classes for you.
Yeah, I'd say if you've at least been through level 1 and you've got some comfort with scenes, and you're brave and you want to jump in, that it might be a good fit, but maybe reach out.
Yeah.
Chris,
thanks so much for talking.
SAK.com.
Yeah, thanks so much for talking to me today. Oh, look, there it is again.
Thank you so much
for talking to me today, Chris. Yeah. Come take a language class with someone who can't speak.
Well, hopefully David will do some learning through the course of his own class as well. And go to SAK.com/classes to sign up for these and others. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you around.